Hey everybody, thank you so very much for visiting us here at Cooking with G Dubs, and I'm your host G Dubs. What I'm going to cook for you today, because now is cold season and a lot of times folks like to eat soup, and especially since we have all of the flu and the corona and everything that's out here, I'm going to cook for you chicken soup, which is something very healthy that you could cook for yourself to help you get through if you were to get infected by anything, feeling sick. It'll help you get through it, and it'll make you feel good. All right. So again, we're going to be making chicken soup today. All right. And I'm going to use what we have in front of us here. And I have some chopped up broccoli. I have some okra. I have some zucchini squash. And I have some yellow squash. And another thing I'm going to add is I'm going to use some bok choy. This is a Chinese vegetable. And then I'm also going to have some celery, some orange bell peppers, green bell peppers. As you see here, I'm gonna have my red onions, and you know I love that. And I'm gonna be making a big pot that we have over here to the side. So I'm gonna be using 3 boxes of, this is 32 ounces of chicken broth that I'm gonna be using, because I'm gonna be making a lot, so it'll last us the whole week. And then I'm also going to have our chicken. And what I have over here is I have my washed chicken, and I'm going to be using chicken thighs, boneless chicken thighs, as well as skinless and boneless chicken breasts. And then I'm going to use some potatoes. And right over here, I have a half a bag of potatoes, which is the equivalent of about 2 pounds of potatoes that I'm going to be using. And then of course I have my Himalayan sea salt and my Èpís. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is, now that you know what we're working with, I'm gonna go ahead on and pause the video right now, and I'm gonna chop everything up and prep it, and then I'll come back and I'm gonna show you what I'm doing. All right, everybody. Now what I've done is I have prepped everything. As you can see in front of me, I have everything chopped up, the bok choy, the celery, the okra, the broccoli, that's all chopped up. I also chopped up my bell peppers, and then I have my green bell peppers, my onions, my potatoes. I chopped them up, and if you see here, what I did was I just, nice big chunks that I did with them, just big enough so that way when you're eating it, it's nice and thick and rich and wonderful. So we did that, and then with my chicken, what I did was because I'm using chicken breast or chicken thighs, I'm using 1 packet of each. What I did was I put 1 cup of Èpís on my chicken after I had washed it, and I marinated it real well. I had it marinated for about 30 minutes so that the seasonings could get all in it and everything. And then I put it on this. I put it in my pan here, and what I did is I used parchment paper at the bottom, and then I put the chicken in it. And what I'm going to do is I already preheated my oven at 400 degrees, and I'm going to put my chicken in the oven for about 30 minutes, just enough for it to cook a lot of the fat off and to get a little firm on the outside. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take it out and we're going to chop it up and we're going to cube it, so that way we can put it into our soup. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, put it in the oven, and then once this is cooking, then what we're going to do is we're going to start making our base for the soup. So then that way, when the chicken is all done, we can have everything, all the veggies already pre-cooked. And then we just throw it in there and let it cook together. All right, so follow me over to the stove. I'm going to put it in here, and I'm going to put it in the middle of the oven at 400 degrees. And we're going to set our timer for 30 minutes. All right. All right, so we got that going. So now what we're going to do is start it on the base of our chicken soup. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to let this pot get hot. And like I told you, it's going to be a big pot, so we're going to cook a lot of it. And what we're going to start off by doing is I'm going to take, I saved 1 chicken thigh, and right here, I saved it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice that up, and I'm going to use that as part of the flavor for our chicken soup. all right? And I'm gonna go get some olive oil, and we're gonna add it to it. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm adding my olive oil to the bottom of my pot. And then what I'm going to do is I chopped up my chicken thigh, and I'm gonna add that to the bottom. And I'm gonna have that cook all together. I'm just gonna saute this up a little bit so that some of the fat from the chicken could render down into the oil, so that way it could add additional flavor to the broth base that we're going to be prepping. All right, and what we're also going to do real quick is I'm going to take some of my celery. I'm going to add that in a minute, but I'm going to let the chicken cook a little bit more, and then we're going to start combining. We're going to start layering everything. All right, but in the meantime, I'm going to have everything ready to go so we can start adding everything together. All right, so what I've done is I've added 1 tablespoon of garlic, and then I've also added half of my red onions. I've added half of my green bell peppers into the pot. I've added half of my orange bell peppers into the pot, and I added all of my celery into the pot too. And then I also added 1/2 of the box of the chicken broth in so that it all steamed together. And this has been cooking so far for about 5-6 minutes. All right, and if you look at it, let me show you. You see here? It's looking really, really good. You see? So everything is starting to blend together. So now what we're going to do at this point is we're going to continue to get our ingredients all blended together. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the rest of my chicken broth. And I'm going to add the other 2 boxes of the chicken broth, and also I'm going to add my potatoes. So then that way all of this is my potatoes. And what I've done is, as I showed you earlier, I've chopped them up. So we're going to add this in. And then what we're going to do is, after we add our potatoes and our chicken broth, then what we're going to do is I'm going to let this all boil together, and I'm going to let it boil together for about good 30 minutes, okay? So by the time the chicken in the oven is all cooked, then our potato should be soft, and then we could add the last bit of our ingredients. And what I'm doing is I'm waiting for the 30 minutes for the potatoes to get soft. So then I'll add my zucchini, my okra, my bok choy, and my broccoli, because those do not take a long time to cook, and I don't want them to get too soft and everything, because I'm sure you just like me, you don't like your veggies to be too soft when you're eating them, especially in a really good soup. You have a little bit of texture onto them, all right? Because that's where you have a lot of the flavor and the nutrients, all right? That's going to help you fight these viruses that's out here that's getting people sick. All right, so we're going to let this boil, and then afterwards, when we come back, we're going to check it for taste, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, so 30 minutes has arrived, and we're going to take our chicken out of the oven. And as you can see here, look at that. See, the chicken has melted away a lot of the fat. And as you know, here with Cooking with G Dubs, we try to cook a lot of dishes healthy. So because we got a lot of the fat off, now we could take it off, slice the chicken up, and then we could be ready to put it in our soup, but without the fat, all right? So what we're gonna do now is, because it's real piping hot coming out of the oven, I'm gonna take it out, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slice up the chicken. I'm gonna slice it into small little bits, all right? You gotta be careful because it's hot. okay? But if you like, because we still have some time left on our potatoes, you could let this sit till it cools down a little bit before you add it or before you start to slice it up. All right. So we got that one sliced up, and then we're going to keep on rolling with it. All right, here's another one. This is the chicken breast. And as you can see, it's real juicy. See, look at that. Nice and juicy. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and keep slicing this up and get it ready. And then we'll be back once the potatoes are done and everything is all chopped up. Then we're going to combine everything. All right. So we will be right back. All right. Be right back. All right. So now my potatoes have been cooking for about 25 minutes or so. So now what I'm going to do, we're going to check it for taste. And because I'm making a big pot that's going to last a few days for my family, remember I had put in the 3 32-ounce boxes of the chicken broth. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add 32 ounces of water to dilute it some, a little bit. And then, since it's boiling and piping hot, I'm gonna go ahead on and check it for taste real quick. And as you know, that's something that's very important because our potatoes is about 10 minutes away from being perfect. So we're gonna check it for taste real quick, and then I'm gonna add my vegetables, the other ingredients, okay? Oh man, it's really, really good. All I have to do is just add just a little bit of salt, okay? And what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna add salt to taste. Just add what you need. And the reason why I'm not telling you exactly how much is because everybody's different. So you want to do what's in the best interest for yourself and your family health-wise. All right, got to make sure you do that. And let's check it one more time. Perfect. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add our Bok Choy. This is going to be rich with veggies, okay? I'm going to add my squash and zucchini. At the end of it, it's going to look more like a chicken vegetable soup with all these vegetables. And remember, it's all going to cook down. So you could determine based on your family's needs what you need here. All right. And also I'm going to add my broccoli. And I'm going to add, this is approximately 16 ounces of okra. All right. So now if you have any kind of virus, this will help fight it. So then that way you could have all of the nutrients you need in your body to help fight anything. All right. Oh, and don't forget, last but not least, I'm going to add a little bit of ginger. So I have my grate here. I'm just going to grate a little bit of ginger into it. So then that way we could have a little bit of kick. And then after we add the ginger, we're going to add our chicken. Okay, see? So this has all types of good nutrition in it for us. And this is our chicken. You remember all the chicken I had? This is what it turned out to be after I chopped it all up, all right? We can take that and we're going to add it to our soup. So this is rich with vegetables, chicken, potatoes, everything you need to be really, really healthy. And when it's all done, I'm going to show you the amount of colors that we have in here. It is beautiful. Remember what I said on my other videos, you eat with your eyes. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the cover back on this. And we're gonna let this cook together for about a good 15 minutes. Then after 15 minutes, we're gonna check it one more time for taste, and we're ready to plate. All right, we'll be right back. All right, everybody, it is done. Now check this out. Isn't that beautiful? It is full of rich deliciousness, vegetables, chicken, all what I showed you earlier. You can see the bok choy, the squash, the celery, everything all mixed together. And it looks good, and let's see what it tastes like, all right? So I gave it a few minutes to cool off because I didn't want to burn my tongue. Now let's see. Wow. Now this here tastes better than a restaurant. I promise you that. So check the description. I'm gonna have a link down below with everything that I put in it. And based on the quantities that you make will determine how much you put, all right? But just follow what I did and then it'll come out the same way, all right? Again, thank you so much for visiting us here at Cooking with G Dubs, and I'm your host, G Dubs. Until the next video.